Promise?
Yeah. You gotta fortify the corners of the moat first. Before you do. Codes.
Donkey show, dude. Fucking donkey show. We go. Oh, yeah, no, exactly.
What time is it? Why, you got somewhere to go?
A young surfer and gifted artist in coastal California has built his life around everyone else's needs, until love asks him to finally choose himself. This is Shelter, 2007, a tender, low-key coming-of-age where duty, desire, and art pull a quiet life into focus. Zach lives in San Pedro, the kind of portside neighborhood where salt hangs in the air and dawn breaks over rows of modest houses. He splits his days between a greasy-spoon diner, odd jobs, and the humbler ambition that keeps him alive. Sketching and painting whenever the world looks away. He is also in practice a third parent to his nephew Cody, reading him stories, doing drop-offs, making dinner, coaxing homework out of a tired kid. Cody's mom, Jeannie, Zach's older sister, leans on him constantly. Money is tight, choices are few, and her boyfriend, Alan, talks like a man who believes volume equals authority. Somewhere in the middle of all that noise lies the version of Zach that might have gone to art school. He keeps those brochures in a drawer. He tries not to open it. The Carter's Beach House, a weathered wood place near the water, is part of Zach's memory map. His best friend since childhood is Gabe Carter. Easy charm, big laugh, a guy who always knows where the party is. But when Gabe is out of town, the house doesn't go quiet. His older brother Sean is back for a stretch, escaping the city to write. Sean is steadier than Gabe, with a writer's patience and a surfer's calm. Zach drops by one afternoon expecting an empty porch and finds Sean cleaning, cooking, and trying to make the place feel like a human lives there. They start talking about boards and broken hinges, then music, then the kind of art Zach makes and the kind of novels Sean writes. Sean looks at Zach's scuffed sketchbook like it belongs in a proper studio, and that simple act, being taken seriously, lands. Days find a rhythm. They surf at first light, chase coffee after, fix small things around the house, and let conversations wander. Sean asks to see more drawings. Zach shrugs and shows him anyway. The older man doesn't flatter. He's specific. He talks about line weight, negative space, motion. He hears how Zach's days get swallowed by obligation and says, with a quiet certainty, that talent like his deserves time. It's not advice shouted over a bar. It's two people at a patio table, pencils out, sun burning off the marine layer while possibility settles in. If you're enjoying these hidden gems, consider supporting the channel by becoming a member. You'll get early access to videos and join a community of true film lovers. Their closeness creeps in sideways like a tide you don't notice until your ankles are wet. A few friends circle up for a beach bonfire. The flames snap. Music scratches out of a small speaker and someone passes around a bag of marshmallows. On the walk back, they linger under a sputtering streetlight, a kiss hovering between them. When it happens, it's gentle, almost surprised, and Zach pulls away like he's stepped over a line he drew for survival years ago. Morning brings the awkwardness both expected. Sean goes first. He didn't mean to push, he says, but he's not going to pretend it meant nothing. Zach nods too many times, then shows up to surf. The ocean absorbs some of what they can't articulate. What follows isn't fireworks so much as warmth. Shared meals, long looks, and the quiet, electric knowledge that someone has stepped into your life and rearranged the furniture in a way that makes more sense. Cody lights up around Sean, who treats him not as a prop, but as a person. Teaching him small things, listening big. In the kitchen, they joke about the most valuable surf wax in human history, Sean's hoarded block. And in the living room, Sean reads a paragraph aloud to Zach just to hear where the rhythm breaks. Sometime after the second or third kiss, that isn't a mistake. The door closes and their tenderness becomes physical, neither frantic nor furtive. Two adults deciding carefully to be with one another. Zach's life brightens because it finally has some space for him in it. He returns to his sketches with more intention. Sean nudges, never shoves. An email to a contact at a local program, a portfolio day on a calendar, extra paper and better pencils appearing on the table. But outside their cocoon, some old forces stir. Alan watches with that half-suspicious, half-swaggering attitude of a man who believes he should set the rules. He makes barbed comments about influence and example, especially when he notices how much time Zach is spending at the Carters. Jeannie, already stretched, wants peace. She doesn't ask hard questions yet. She just hopes the air stops crackling. Gabe crashes back into town the way Gabe does. Loud, affectionate, slightly chaotic, and observant enough to feel the shift before anyone explains it. He clocks the way Sean and Zach move around each other, how a look substitutes for a sentence, how the kitchen feels like a place where both belong. At first he's not hostile, just thrown. Later, cornering Zach with a mix of brotherly protectiveness and friend anxiety, he blurts what scared people tend to blurt. Is this a phase? Are you sure? Is Sean taking advantage? Zach absorbs the questions.
Surfing?
Well, you know about him, right?
What about him?
He's gay?
Keeps his voice steady and answers yes, yes, and no. Gabe hears the conviction but wrestles with his own reflexes. The story he had for his brother, the story he had for his friend, and why the overlap scrambles him. One thing about Zach, he's built from the urge to keep the peace even if it costs him. So when pressure comes from both sides, Gabe's discomfort, Alan's suspicion, Jeannie's need, he does what he's always done. He tries to carry everything. He pulls back a little from Sean with promises that it's temporary, that he just needs to keep things simple for Cody. Sean, older and calmer, lets him set the pace but refuses to shrink. He says he cares. He says he's here. The door stays open. Also, if you love celebrating queer cinema as much as we do, visit our new store. We've got exclusive LGBTQ+ movie posters and stickers inspired by the films we talk about. Every purchase helps support the channel.
Hey, Jeannie.
Hey.
Friends?
Yeah, okay.
Right on. I'll call Zach.
Okay, good. Yeah, give me a call.
What was that?
Cody is the hinge the story turns on, not because he's a symbol, but because he's a kid living inside the choices adults make. One night, Jeannie heads out, promising she'll be back at a reasonable hour. Time drifts and keeps drifting. When Zach swings by to check, he finds Cody asleep alone, a half-finished dinner on the table and the TV humming to itself. Jeannie isn't answering her phone. The protective part of Zach, the one that's been running his life since high school, roars awake. He tucks Cody into his own bed and sits up in the living room until Jeannie returns, then tries not to explode.
What? You'll make it.
Cody, let's go! Where were you?
Surfing.
She apologizes in sentences padded with excuses. Alan arrives later and acts like Zach's concern is performative. The next morning, everyone behaves like it's fine. It isn't. The fallout doesn't look like shouting. It looks like Zach recalibrating. He spends even more time with Cody, tries to put logic into a chaotic adult triangle, and makes deals with himself. If he can keep the kids safe, everything else can wait. But Art has been calling louder since Sean arrived, and trying to ignore it feels like trying to keep a wave from breaking. Meanwhile, Sean isn't arm's length from the realities of Zach's life. He's in the kitchen, at school pickups, on the beach helping Cody balance on a board, quietly showing what stability can look like when it's shared. Those moments knit into something that looks a lot like family. Gabe, who is better than his worst instincts, circles back. He sees that Zach is not getting reckless. He's getting steadier. He sees that Sean isn't a fling. He's invested. Making dinners, reading bedtime stories, showing up for the unglamorous parts. The apology when it comes is unshowy. A cracked joke about the weirdness of your best friend dating your brother, followed by a genuine, I handled it badly. Zach nods. The friendship, tested, holds. Jeannie finally names what she's been pretending not to notice. She catches a moment, maybe a hand on a shoulder, maybe laughter too close, and the truth lands all at once. The fear that someone else is shaping Cody collides with the relief of having help, and she lashes out. Think about what people will say, she warns. Think about him. She doesn't frame it as an ultimatum. She doesn't have to. Every sentence suggests that if Zach chooses Sean openly, he'll lose access to Cody. The threat is indirect but heavy. Alan, sensing leverage, pushes his own narrative. A proper home on one side, a bad influence on the other. Zach does what the cornered version of himself knows. He steps back from Sean, too quickly, too cleanly, telling himself he is sacrificing romance to protect a child. The days go dim. He works more shifts, paints less, sleeps badly. Sean doesn't retaliate. He stays present without pressure, the porch light literally and figuratively on. Cody, who doesn't have the vocabulary for adult maneuvers, has one for sadness. He asks why Uncle Zach is suddenly always busy.
Sometimes that happens, Cody. People leave sometimes.
Why did he leave?
The answer sounds like grown-up words. It feels like loss. In a saner world, that might have been the end of it. But the gaps in Jeannie's situation don't shrink when Zach shrinks. They widen. Another night stretches late. Another errand becomes an absence. Another sharp comment from Alan exposes contempt where concern should be. When Alan sneers about what kind of example is being set, Zach's patience snaps, not into violence, but into a clarity he can't unknow. Protecting Cody, he realizes, can't mean agreeing to a lie about himself. It has to mean building a life that's honest and dependable, and that includes the person he loves. So he pivots, not with a speech or a stunt, but with a series of choices. He shows up at the Carter's house at dusk, tells Sean he won't live in fear, and asks, plainly, if the invitation to share life is still open. It is. They begin to stitch something deliberate, schedules for Cody that don't default to Zach but include him, boundaries Jeannie can live with, and a plan for Zach to actually pursue the art path he shelved. Portfolio day goes from fantasy to calendar appointment. The dining table becomes a studio. Sean proofs artist statements and helps photograph pieces while Zach cuts mats and selects work that isn't just pretty but personal. The portfolio review is humbling in the right way. Rooms that smell like sawdust and ink, tables covered in hearts disguised as paper. Faculty flip through Zach's work. Ocean-swept stencils, tight line drawings, bold sprays that carry motion. They ask the question that always matters. What do you want from this? Zach, for once, doesn't minimize. He says he wants training, community, a path where art isn't what's left after he's done saving everyone else. The feedback is concrete. Strengths, gaps, next steps, scholarships to chase. No one promises magic. They do something better. They treat the dream like a plan. Back home, the mood is quieter than celebration and deeper than relief. Cody is giddy because any day that includes new markers is a big day. Jeannie comes by, sees the table turn studio, and
Mom died and I got the family fucking gene.
Oh, I see. So it's the family gene that's making you run off and have your big gay wedding?
something complicated moves across her face. Pride, fear, grief. For the years she leaned too hard on her brother. She doesn't apologize with a monologue. She says simply, "I'll make it work," meaning schedules, boundaries, and the dignity of building her own stability. She means it. Alan, confronted with a family choosing honesty over his cheap control, sulks at the edges and finds fewer willing ears. Gabe becomes the guy you want in the aftermath. A backslapping mover of furniture, an unlicensed logistics coordinator, a joke when the room needs air. His presence normalizes what's already normal. His brother and his best friend are together, and the sky didn't fall. The neighborhood adjusts on the same timeline neighborhoods always do. The people who matter matter. The ones who don't, don't. There is still friction. A coworker makes a cheap crack at the diner. A relative tries a barbed joke at a cookout. But the difference is that Zach isn't negotiating alone anymore. Sean's steadiness is not theatrical, it's practical. He introduces silence like a mirror and lets people see themselves. Zach, who has spent years absorbing blows meant for others, begins to choose where he spends his energy. More of it goes into canvases and sketchbooks. Some of it goes into learning how to be loved without qualifying it. Jeannie's next test is not philosophical, it's logistical. Childcare, work, rent, life's blunt instruments force decisions. She holds the line with Alan, whose last power move is a remark so petty, it kills its own argument. She leans on Zach appropriately, rides when needed, evenings when schedules make sense. But the era of using him as a catch-all ends. Cody, freed from the adult weather system, thrives. He catches small waves with big yells, does homework at the kitchen table that doubles as an art bench, and falls asleep to the quiet of a house that feels safe. Some nights Zach and Sean walk the block with the kind of ordinary affection that used to feel out of reach. Hands brushing, a shoulder leaned into at a crosswalk, the unremarkable miracle of being unafraid. They talk deadlines and drafts, critiques and revisions, the 1,000 small steps version of forward. Zach starts introducing himself in careful context as an artist who also works at a diner. Not as a diner guy who draws for fun. The identity shift is not cosmetic. it's structural. A few days later, Sean reads a page aloud and asks if the dialogue rings true. Zach studies a sketch and asks if a line should breathe more. Their crafts are different. The muscle is the same. Pay attention, revise honestly, keep going. Cody, sprawled on the floor with crayons, tells them both to stop being boring and draw a shark. They do. The house, imperfect, small, exactly enough, holds all three. In the movie's closing movement, Shelter doesn't reach for melodrama or punishment. It chooses the shape it has been tracing all along, people figuring it out. Zach commits to his applications and to the daily discipline of making. Sean commits to the partnership as it is, supportive, reciprocal, grounded. Jeannie commits to being a parent on her own terms and to respecting her brother's life instead of requisitioning it. Gabe commits to the joke and the truck and the long friendship that outlasts awkward chapters. Alan, deprived of the oxygen of deference, recedes. A coastal morning, wind down, swell steady, delivers the closing image. Zach and Sean carry boards. Cody bounces in a wetsuit that makes him look like he's trying out for a cartoon squad. In the water, Sean steadies the tail. Zach counts it out, 1, 2, 3, and Cody pops up into that wobble that becomes balance, then glide. The cheer that follows is small and perfect. Onshore towels become capes and the day arranges itself into breakfast, chores, and maybe a shared hour where Zach can paint while Cody reads and Sean drafts a chapter. It doesn't look like a triumph montage. It looks like a life. Honest, chosen, sustainable. What Shelter understands is that the bravest act isn't a single dramatic announcement. It's the daily fidelity to a self you once hid to keep the peace. Zach's arc is not about abandoning family. It's about refusing to disappear inside it. He stands up, not against Cody's well-being, but for it. By building a home where love is steady, art is not a guilty secret, and adults behave like adults. The film ends before big headlines. No ceremony, no grand speech. Instead, it leaves you with the sound this story has been making from the start. Waves, breath, pencil on paper, a door closing softly behind people who belong in the same room. Also, if you love celebrating queer cinema as much as we do, visit our new store. We've got exclusive LGBTQ+ movie posters and stickers inspired by the films we talk about. Every purchase helps support the channel.
You hungry?
Starving.
Starving? What do you want for dinner? Go ahead, take it.
Nah, it's cool.
What, you guys are like in limbo or something?
In the soft afterglow of that morning, the practical future begins to take on the same dignity as the romance. Zach pencils out application timelines and deadline reminders. Sean color codes a calendar because that's the kind of nerd he is. They divide tasks without speeches. School pickups on Tuesdays and Thursdays, mornings for studio time when night shifts allow, weekends for the beach unless the ocean says no. Jeannie drops by with a box of Cody's things and a thank you that doesn't erase past mistakes but acknowledges present truth. On the wall near Zach's desk, a new piece takes shape. Bold strokes, motion in the lines. Not just waves, but the feeling of moving through them on purpose. They keep surfing, they keep cooking, they keep showing up. That's the real Shelter the title promises. Not walls, but a way of living that can hold weather. And if you listen close as the credits roll, you can hear the quiet thesis of the film, that protecting the people you love and telling the truth about who you are do not live on opposite sides of a line. For Zach, they finally live in the same house. Grab LGBTQ+ movie posters and stickers from our brand new store. Link in the description. So which of these hidden gems will you stream first? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.
I got in.
What?
To CalArts, they took me back. Turn around. Oh, I don't know.
Well, if it is, do you think you'd have to hide it from me, from Gabe, from Tori?
I don't know. I don't fucking know, okay?